It's so great to see you again in your happy sweater.
Well, at this point, I figure anything we can do to combat, some of the languishing that we're all feeling, we'll go for the little things.
Yeah, I mean, we've dealt with new variants a number of times now, so why are so many of us having just such a hard time with this one?
Well, I mean, there's a few things. There's no question. We've talked at length, about languishing and about COVID fatigue. We're tired. And what we keep seeing is a moving goalpost. And even though it means we actually do know what to do and how to cope with this, and we have the skill set, it just feels like, again, this is happening again. And what the big difference at the moment is we have uncertainty. This time last year was actually easier on a lot of us because we kind of, we knew ahead of time, all right, these are the restrictions, these are the rules. So we were already planning ahead for the holidays in terms of what we could do, what we couldn't do, how we needed to alter our plans. But this year we have so much uncertainty, and our brains do not like uncertainty. That's one of those principles that we have learned. It produces cortisol, it produces a whole lot of effect on both our brain and our body. And what it tends to do in most of us is really ramp up our levels of anxiety. Now, different people have different levels of tolerance for uncertainty, but for a lot of us, it's just increased because, like I say, we don't know what is the right decision to make. And if you are someone who has high levels of anxiety when it comes to uncertainty, now's the time to start making some changes.
So what are some of the strategies that we can use then?
Well, like I say, a lot of it is knowing your comfort level. And at this point, if you're someone who really doesn't like uncertainty, you need to be making some decisions about what you're willing to do and not do over the holidays. If you're someone who perhaps is a little bit more comfortable, maybe setting yourself some deadlines and saying, okay, you know what? We're going to make decisions about New Year's Eve on the 27th. Like we'll wait to see where things develop, but we will kind of do a go, no go in terms of plans on a certain date. It's really important at this point in time to figure out what are your own personal boundaries. What are you going to be comfortable with? Again, given a certain amount of information, what are you comfortable with today? What might you be comfortable with a week or so from now? And the really hard part is having that discussion with friends and family without it sounding judgmental about choices they may be making. Because again, remember, nobody quite knows what they're doing. So that ambiguity, everybody's making decisions for themselves, but just deciding for yourself, where are my boundaries? What can I do? And develop plan Bs. And in particular, talk to your kids about, this is what we have planned, but if that doesn't work, we've got a backup. We've got another idea, and be able to kind of move through that. And as I sort of said, again, it feels discouraging. I said earlier, I feel like Charlie Brown with the football, trying to yet again make this happen and feeling really discouraged, and a lot of us are feeling that way. I think it's important to remind ourselves we have the tools. We have been through this before. Yes, we're exhausted. Yes, our energies are depleted, but we know what to do. We know how to stay safe, which is something we didn't have the first little while. And as we always talk about this time of year, really important to focus in on what are the things that are actually really important to you? And is it the huge gatherings? Is it the fancy food? Or is it the, sitting around the fireplace playing a board game or watching a movie with the family and maybe looking ahead to some possible future plans or future activities? Focus on the friends, family, love, joy, all of those messages that we try to send every year.
Well, we are out of time, but I do want to tell our viewers that one thing that we can all be certain of is that, well, I should knock on wood about that, is that we'll see you again next week, won't we, before Christmas?
That's certainly the plan. And again, we always like to have a little bit of fun and bring a little bit of levity right before Christmas holidays, for sure.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming in again.
Thanks, Tony.